Welcome back, everybody, to part 1 of 2, I suppose, of the Christmas special. Christmas special is code word for I'm traveling for the holidays and I do all my editing. I don't have time to do a full video for the next week and a half-ish, so we're doing some more loose, more fun stuff for this coming week. So my girlfriend, Kasey, she made an advent calendar for me that I pulled out of a bucket, which was pretty fun, and each day had a Magic the Gathering pack that I like for one reason or another. So it was a lot of fun. I figured let's go over them. Let's see what I got out of these packs. There's some pretty cool hits out of them. These are in no particular order except for the very last one. So starting off, one of the packs was Rivals of Ixalan because I started with Ixalan. I played a lot of Standard during this era. All of these cards are very familiar to me. I opened a ton of this set when I was playing. We've got a lot of the Standard stuff. We've got stuff like Sea Legs, we've got Stampeding Horncrest, Glorifier, Dust Legion Zealot, just a lot of the fun stuff. Oh, Grasping Scoundrel was really fun and limited. As well as, Water Knot, your standard tap and doesn't untap effect that everybody loves on their big creatures. Also in the back, we have one of the reasons that Merfolk was actually playable in that standard, which was Silvergill Adept reprinted into standard. And the rare for this pack was a pseudo 3-mana board wipe, Slaughter the Strong. I know this still sees play in some commander decks because if you got a bunch of little guys, you can protect a lot of them and your opponents could just completely wipe themselves from most things. And if they don't have anything with power 4 or less, their entire board's gone. And it's sacrificed, so it gets around indestructible, which is pretty cool. And of course, of the era, we've got the placeholders for the two-sided cards and the City's Blessing, which was a mechanic that I played with a lot during this standard with bad ramp decks. One of the first packs I opened was a pack of Mystery Booster 2. Now, as we know, Mystery Booster 2 has some pretty fun quirks to it. It's got some playtest cards. It's got some white border. It's got some future sight borders, right? Got some classics in the pack, of course. We got Drift of Phantasms, which is actually used in Canadian Highlander as a relatively hard to interact with tutor for certain cards, for certain key decks. Undercity Informer, rest in peace, banned too soon in Pioneer. Fire Blast, the reason that Legacy Burn was still considered a budget deck. But I know what you're here for. What's in the back? What's in the back? This pack was really good. We have AC Tyrant of Gyre Strait, Future Sight Soul Ring, really pretty. I do like a lot of the treatments they did in this set. Like the next one, which is White Border Urza's Saga, and I know this is incredibly tilting to a lot of people. I love this just for the tilt factor alone. If someday I get my hands on a White Border Comet, I am jamming that in all of my red-white Canadian Highlander decks because it looks so fugly. Next up, we have a Foundations pack. I really do like Foundations. I think it's a great set for getting people into the game. We do have one half of the limited combo, Marauding Blight Priest. I love that they put the Infinite in their limited environment, and then when players were like, why'd you put this infinite combo in the introduction set for players? And they go, we're not holding their hand. Infinite combos are a thing. They're gonna learn, and I respect that. Of course, the big hit we had in this pack was an alternate art Abyssal Harvester. Now, probably not going to play this in too many constructed decks, but I'm sure I can find room for it in a commander deck of mine. I know this is what you come for on the channel. One of the packs I got was a Pokemon pack. It's of the newest set of Pokemon. It's a pretty unassuming pack. I mean, we've got some standard stuff. We've got Baltoy, Clefable, we've got Cherubi. We've got the dude who carried me through Pokemon Black when I was a kid. We got Sock. That was pretty cool. But then there's a really funny one. So this wasn't too long after that whole CEO unaliving thing. They pulled Breloom. I think this was like once they found the dude's social medias and immediately were like, oh, Breloom's on it. And then I immediately pulled Breloom. Speaking of things you come for on the channel that aren't Magic related, I got a pack of Weiss Schwarz, which I have never opened before, but apparently they have different packs for different Attack on Titan seasons. I'm a pretty big fan of Attack on Titan, so it was fun. So we've got, Marco, famously still alive character who lived a happy and fulfilling life and solved everybody's problems. We also have some of the Titans. I do like these kind of packs where like the card design strategy is take screen grabs from whatever media they're using. I always think that's kind of funny. We got one of the most important characters, Mr. Eren Yeager himself. But then we also have the one that is Kelsey's favorite, which is Scout Regiment Commanding Officer Ervin. You know, a lot of us are big fans of him, her included. Then my rare of the pack is the Enormous Stature Colossal Titan. So I think Vice is one of those games where if something in the name is in like quotations like that, it means that it's a different version of a card. So they can do like multiple versions of the same character, which is kind of cool. And then the last card is the Special Operations Squad, which has the other thirst trap, Commander Levi. Speaking of card games that aren't Magic, I'm pretty sure this is the last non-Magic pack, but I also got the newest set of Yu-Gi-Oh! She got it for me, which is pretty cool. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot when I was younger, and I still watch a lot of Yu-Gi tubers. So for cards in this pack, we've got Tornado Dragon. He's pretty cool. Yu-Gi-Oh! Packs are a lot smaller than Magic or Pokemon packs. We've also got Ryzeal Plasma Hold. Ryzeal's a new archetype for the series that is doing really well. Speaking of another new archetype that's doing really well, the Malice archetype. So this one's Malice P. Dormouse. They're like hackers based on Alice in Wonderland, so this is like the Dormouse. I think it's a really cute archetype. Kelsey really likes it. I think it's a cool idea. Real old heads remember when Tenyis were playable. So there is one in this pack that's very nostalgic for me, which is Evil Swarm Eschaton Knight. There was a time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where this card was $90. That time has passed, obviously. But at one point, this was a lot, and I remember I pulled a copy when I was a kid, and I was so happy to have one, and then it immediately got banned. It's unbanned now because it's just not as good as it used to be. But yeah, very, very nostalgic card for me during the time I did play Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up, we have another Mystery Booster. This is not Mystery Booster 2. It's pretty standard for what it is. We've got some fun ones. We've got Blitz Special, God's Willing, classic. This was a card I remember people were talking a lot about in Pauper when it came out, Gruesome Fate, where your opponent loses a life for each creature you have. But then the thought came to be where if you have enough creatures where this just ends your opponent's career, why don't you just attack anyways? In the rares, we actually got some fun ones. We have Athreos, God of Passage, the classic looping commander. We also had Liliana Death's Majesty, which is nostalgic for me. I remember this when I was playing Standard during this time once Ixalan came out. We have Modern Horizons 1. I'm a big fan of Modern Horizons 1. It's very nostalgic, quote unquote, for me back when these were a new concept. First off, we've got a couple changelings, like the Scorpion Changeling. Changelings were a pretty supported limited archetype. We've also got some sick arts like Settle Beyond Reality. I wish I had a foil of this. I should probably get one. They're probably not that much. Kelsey personally loves this guy, Kite, just because he looks very skungly, which I agree. The rare for this pack is kind of a dud, but still sees play in certain Enchantress decks. We got Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Next up, Neon Dynasty, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Really fun set. I had a lot of fun opening this when it came out. And I remember my coworker and friend Chance, he needed the uncommon modify rabbit. And so I watched him in real time over the course of a shift buy a box worth of Neon Dynasty, and I don't even think he got the rabbit by the end. He opened like 5 Bosejus during it though. Got the alt art Ishin Two Heavens is one, the Panharmonicon for combat damage triggers. Chance has also tried to make this work in Commander to varying success. The other rare of this pack is Light Paws, one of the only upgrades Bogles has seen that's like somewhat meaningful in the last 1,000 years. But then I also lucked out because I got the foil version of the island, which is really sick. I actually really love the lands from Neon Dynasty. I think they're really cool. The set that really kicked it off for me, Ixalan. Of course, we've got the placeholder for the double-sided cards. I have so many of these vampire tokens that are foil and either have a treasure or a dinosaur on the end. I was playing so much Standard Showdown when this set came out that I just have so many of those from like the Standard Showdown packs. This is a very, again, nostalgic set for me because it's when I really first started playing Magic. I've opened all of these. Skittering Heartstopper, the classic bomb removal spell. This was also the first time we saw treasures introduced, and it's really funny because now treasure cards don't fully spell out what a treasure token does because it's basically evergreen. I think it's like a 2 on the storm scale. But back then, this was the first time treasure came out, so you've got the full explanation of treasure. Create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Learning from gold, they made them tap to sack to add the mana instead of gold, which didn't have to tap, so you could do some shenanigans with it. The rares of this pack, I got 2. We've got Thematic Compass, which I definitely tried to make work in a lot of bad ramp decks. Flips into effectively Maze of Ith on the back. And then the foil is Entrancing Melody, which did see some play during the standards that it was legal as just a catch-all way to steal your opponent's best thing. The last pack we have is the Baldur's Gate pack from the D&D sets. I actually really liked this set. It introduced a lot of really cool and fun cards, and then it also introduced Minskaboo Timeless Heroes, so, you know, give and take on that. I got the D&D book art of Aniris Gloomstalker. I really do think this card's pretty fun in a lot of the more mid-rangey lands decks in Canadian Highlander. It's just a relatively aggressively static creature. It's on rate, but then it also can bring back like your Strip Mine or your Wasteland over and over and over, so it's pretty fun. You don't want to let it attack usually. A lot of the cards in Baldur's Gate are very skungly, like Sturge, and then right after Sturge, we have Ettercap. They're just skungly boys. We actually got 2 rares in this pack. One of them is Legion Loyalty, the big enchantment that gives all your creatures Myriad. Really good in multiplayer formats, doesn't do anything in 1v1. But then we also have the combo enabler, Displacer Kitten, which can do all these fun little combos and loops that people love and never get tired of in any format they play. So the last thing that Kasey got me was a secret lair, and after a lot of deliberation, she picked what I think is a pretty thematic secret lair, the left-handed secret lair, because, in case you didn't know, I am left-handed, so works really well for me. I just gotta say though, these arts are incredibly, incredibly cursed, though I do like how all the characters in it are actually left-handed. Some pretty strong CDH cards in this, like Rograx, son of Roga. Former really good CDH cards, Sisay Witherlight Captain. I'm pretty sure she's just like dead in the water now, unfortunately, but you can cope, you can still play her. Other cards in the secret lair, we've got Empress Galena, the classic, just stealing stuff, because why not? I like that the Geralf's Messenger has like 5 left hands. I think that's really funny. A Garrett Caller of Beasts. Have you ever wanted to just put a World Spine Worm onto the field? Well, now you can. And last but not least, Dakon Blackblade, before they really got color identity down on legendary creatures, and for some reason, this Esper card cares about the number of lands you control for power and toughness. So this is the polls from the advent calendar that my beautiful girlfriend Kasey got me. Thank you for all of these packs. I really appreciate them. So I figured I'd show you some of this packs, what I got out of them, why they matter to me. But until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Happy holidays.